and gentlemen, this is a little ghetto get up we have
Ghetto
here.
combat.
Ghetto combat. Usually people say don't just react to things. Try put some effort into your reaction videos.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing it live,
Yeah.
so it's not only just their content being shown. We're actually showing this raggedy ass room, and we have MuscleMan here, the main man himself. In essence, what's happened is that the MK reveal has happened a day ago, last night, and I was partly impressed because they changed the game in a sense.
Yeah,
I
there
thought
was change.
this isn't just MKX Part 2. It's a different game. So I did manage to, if you're seeing this, you've probably seen the video I came up with beforehand talking about the things that caught my attention. So this is now just us fast forwarding through the material I was recording into the OBS, of course, just to talk about a few extra things that I may not have spoken about while I was watching. So MuscleMan is going to give us his thoughts as we go through, and I'll also give you some thoughts as we go through. So right now I'm just going to press play. We're going to be skipping through most of the footage as it goes along, and I don't know, MK11 I guess. New logo. Whatever.
New logo every time.
That doesn't matter. Most people talk about this new art style of the game, and like right now we were talking with Mr. Titan himself.
Yeah.
And you were saying that
Legend.
he doesn't really appreciate the art style. For example, if I were to take a pause there, I assume that's Kung Lao and that's Liu Kang, right?
That Liu Kang,
I guess that, because the thing is, they spoke that since since there's an element of time travel, right? And Ed Boon had said it would be interesting to see how the characters go back in time to meet their former selves, like when they were younger. That guy right there to the left is Liu Kang. Does that look like Liu Kang?
I don't know, maybe in an alternate reality, I guess.
I guess
like
he's younger. So considering that the only reference to a young Liu Kang we have now is like the older games whose graphics weren't so great. So I guess Kung Lao looks kind of pissed, but
it's like again.
But you have to ask yourself then, why is Scorpion going after Kung Lao and Liu Kang back in the anyway? This is the story reveal. There's Scarlet here as well. Doing, I assume that's a fatal blow. We have Raiden, we have
shoutouts to
Supergirl. We have Supergirl.
EX Trade.
We've got EX Trade from Supergirl. Yeah, true. They showed quite a lot in this game.
So
the gameplay
is going to be.
It's gonna be quite a bit. It's gonna be quite a bit to talk about. I was just sad that I never got the chance to see the pros play because, of course, the combos is what everyone really wants to know. But we got a glimpse as to, generally speaking, what exactly is happening in the game, the fatalities we got to see, and the cinematics. The graphics look great. The graphics looks beautiful, right? But then, MuscleMan, what do you have to say about the graphics? Do you feel like this art style is good for you? That's the ultimate time. I think this is a good place to pause.
Perfect.
Do you feel like the graphics are good, or do you feel like this departure from what MKX was kind of messed things up? What do you think?
There's a lot to actually take from that, because from where MKX was, there was, the art style was 3D and, more realistic and, cultural and, in essence, what Mortal Kombat
was working towards. What you feel like, if you look at all the older games, they were working towards that particular point.
Yeah, because take from MK9, taking from that game and seeing the way there was, attention to detail, the wear and tear from the match, there was a lot of detail that I think that they actually did quite good in MKX, and then now here, it's more it's more what's the word?
If more cinematic, more I guess cinematic, more comic book, more flashy,
more just just entertainment to look at, not really just some sort of a brawl, one of those the fights that we really wanted from MK, but it's just that appeal for the target market, should I say?
True. Funnily enough, we paused here, and I just realized that this elder god of time is actually talking to Liu Kang, because Liu Kang is always the center of attention, and Raiden is Raiden has messed up Liu Kang so many times.
Yeah.
I guess she's trying to tell him that Raiden's an issue.
Yeah,
I guess
this
warning
guy
them before
is-
it happens.
Yeah, that actually.
She
makes
could
sense.
do. Yeah, maybe this is like, you know how Raiden got the vision. It went back in MK9 to the MK1, 2 era. So maybe she's gone back to that first tournament and be like, yo, man,
this guy is
Raiden's about to mess you up in a certain way, I guess. Now we have Geras. I assume, considering they said Geras has time controlling abilities, that in some way he's like the emissary of the Elder God of Time.
Okay.
Kinda.
Could be.
Be
Yeah,
like
makes
he's
sense.
a minion,
Yeah.
or because there's a time when Raiden's like, don't you feel anything, and it's like, nah, I don't feel anything in your power, which means it's like a lifeless, it's like a robot.
Alright,
Cyborg
basically.
Part 2.
Okay,
I don't
something
know.
like that.
You know.
Alright, to be honest, here you'll be actually telling me a lot of stuff. There's actually a lot of stuff to do with the story that I actually.
You hadn't pieced
Yeah,
together there with the
exactly.
discussion. Nah, it's all fairly fine. But it was just some of the few things I find Raiden killing a lot of people. But funnily enough, Raiden kind of looks. Okay. Before we go far, I just wanted to say that Raiden kinda seems like they used the character model for Superman. He's got a very Superman face. Let me see if I can go back. I'll try my best. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe it's just me, but I feel like Raiden's got a very Superman-esque, or at least he fits that role. Like, literally, if this
Who
wasn't,
played Injustice?
yeah, yeah,
I didn't play.
yeah. To be honest, I hadn't even played the game, but it's one of those. When I look at Raiden now, I feel like he is the Superman of this game.
Okay, which
It's like,
makes-
get off my world. This is my world.
Makes a lot of sense.
I'm
Yeah,
a
I
rule
can
this
see
if no
that.
one can rule it better than me, kind of thing. So I feel like he's now like the Superman of let me just take charge because people don't want to do things the right way, so I'm gonna do things for them. I feel like that's what Raiden is now, and I guess that's what makes me look at him in the vein of he is the Superman. Let me try scroll forward a bit more past these things. Wasn't this guy the guy who did the videos, the combo videos for MKX?
Yes,
He
Joshua
is,
Gray is
yeah,
actually quite
exactly.
underrated, to be honest.
Yeah,
This guy is.
he doesn't play, right?
Yeah,
he
he
just
doesn't
makes
really.
videos and guides. Yeah,
and
see.
some good narration in there.
True. Character select screen. This is not the MKX select screen. This is more akin to MK9
Yeah.
and older
More, but
games.
just a bit more close
Even if
up.
you look at Street
Yeah.
Fighter Alpha, it had the same grid, and then you have your character standing on either side. This is like that typical classic fighting game grid. I don't know. It looks nice, of course. Like, of course, the graphics look very pretty.
Background.
You've got Baraka and Ronda Rousey. The background, I
Should
don't know.
should we be paying any attention to it?
Nah, I don't know. It's like that background is just there, maybe to have significance. when-
Try. Do you remember much from MKX background?
We were talking about the significance of the background of the character select screen. It
Is
looks.
anything to take seriously? Or it's just, you know,
I feel like it's, to be honest with you, I feel like it's just a background. Like there might be, it could be a location in the story. It looks like some place that's very dark, some place very NetherRealm-ish, like dark earth, dark realm, wherever the hell
there's
is.
always something
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It feels like someone's castle or fortress. Who knows?
Okay.
Funnily enough, though, Quanchi is dead. Like this just came. I was even going to talk about this, but Quanchi is
Quanchi's
dead.
dead.
Just to think a
So
MK, just to think a MK without Quanchi. But the thing is, though, if Shansung's stages are there and they're traveling in time, like if they really wanted to bring him back,
Yeah,
they
they
can.
could, yeah.
They can. That's definitely up to them. Like we just went back to a period in time when he was still alive.
Oh.
Maybe the Elder God of Time has a use for him. You never know.
Yeah.
But anyway, his stage is there. At least that much we know. But anyway, like I said.
Raiden could have honestly, touched up with around just a bit.
Oh, and made it look like that.
I'm just
Never
leaving it
know.
out there.
But character model wise looks better. Of course, the graphics are better. I like Scarlett's look, the whole trap, and it looks like some Arab, not to be racist, but some Arab desert traveler. You know what I mean? I like that. Of all the characters they've revealed, it's like
far.
I mean. I used Sonya and I used Scorpion, but I was actually way more excited as to what was up with Scarlet here.
The newer,
exactly.
The newer characters was like, wow.
True. It was the first time where it was like you see something and you're like, hey like, man, this is great. You know what I mean?
It's not all the cosmetics thrown on the characters you already know about.
True. Garrus, I love the facial details. Someone Fiery D2 would definitely love to use. I think I'm calling it now. I'm putting money
no
on
shilling,
this.
Guys.
No shilling, but I foresee Fiery D2 using this.
Okay.
But overall, like I said, the character models look amazing.
As they always do.
Shilling for beta access. What do you think about this? Pre-order the game to get access to the beta. Considering the fact that you have games like Dead or Alive, even though it's not like a popular game, have games like Dead or Alive whereby, or even Namco Soul Calibur 6, where it's like, it's a free beta, it's at this date, come play. And then you play and you decide if you like the game or not. This one is like, pay for the game, and then we give you the right. Call of Duty does this, many games do this. And the significance why I want to put to this is that, for example, I'm a PC player, and on Steam, to refund, you have to have played less than 2 hours of the game. Then you are eligible to refund and get your money back. But what most people have noticed is that if you have accessed the beta before, like let's just say this beta comes out, and I've pre-ordered the game, if I play more than 2 hours, when the game comes out, I might not be eligible for my discount. I mean, for my refund, because they'll tell me you've played more than 2 hours, even though it was a beta. Hey. So this is like, this in essence is taking your money. Bear in mind, to anyone listening, it's not like I'm hating on the game. Like I made this video because I was shocked at how much I actually liked MK11, but it's business practices like this that I feel are utter crap. This is stealing people's money. This is genuinely stealing people's money. I don't know if
I don't know about that. Well, let me not just say. Let me not just throw that out.
True.
Okay.
Well, that's what
with the whole character pre-order this and
exactly and get a character. Yeah.
To be honest, the characters are not worth pre-ordering.
Okay, I feel like there's a good part to stop. We have character variations, same as the old game.
Okay.
And before, people had come up with different videos speculating as to how the variation system would work. And soon enough,
I never did watch a lot of those.
I actually watched quite a bit because they'd only made reference to custom variations. They never actually said the standard variations are coming out. So what people assumed in the past, before the information was put in all the game stores, was that you would have like certain moves. Let's just say Baraka in essence has maybe let's just say it has 10 special moves, and then after that there are 10 extra special moves that in essence would have made the 3 variations. So maybe 4 for one, then 4 for another, 2 for another. Let's just say those would have been the custom tied to a specific variation. But people were assuming that since it's custom variations, those 10 extra moves would still be there. People were saying that chances are a character would have their 10 base moves as an example. And then after that you then pick from the other 10 to make your own variation. But then we never really considered the fact that the normal variations would still be there, and then you can then make your own custom loadout. Like instead, let me use MKX as an example. Like we have Scorpion on the screen right now anyway. So we have Hellfire, we have Ninjutsu, and what was the minion one?
It was
Inferno, right? So each of them have their own special moves, and then imagine if those variations didn't exist, but then you just pick maybe I want low minion plus 4 or 2 with swords and flame order, and then that's your now custom variation. But in this case, it's like those 3 variations exist. You in essence have Ninjutsu, Inferno, and Hellfire, and then you can then have your own niche MuscleMan variation where it's like I want this, this, and this. But my question is, if that is the case, because you can see that they have the normal 3 default variations and then 3 slots for your own variation. If you don't want to waste time consistently making every time you play, you can just make your own custom one. Why would they then pick the default ones? I feel like this has shot themselves in the foot, because if I can make, for example, my own Grandmaster that has Ice Hammer, why would I pick the default Grandmaster? It doesn't have Ice Hammer.
Trying to be too technical where it wasn't really needed. That's what it seems like.
We're still alive. We're still alive. But I feel like it's redundancy in the sense that it's either you keep them custom completely or you keep the defaults. So in this case, fair and fine, I haven't played the game out there now. But I feel like it's either they just kept it as the 3 default variations and then suffered from certain variations sucking compared to others, or they should have just said it's custom variations like they're advertised, where you just pick for yourself. And then it's up to whether is the move you picked good or bad, and then how do you supplement.
To be honest, the whole adding and subtracting from this, I've never really been a fan of custom characters.
That's definitely.
For me. That's one thing I actually never really dabbled at all in Injustice. I just played tournament because right.
That's it. No, most definitely. I felt like in the past, how can I say this with making sense? I feel like most often than not, you want to put across your skill as a player, not your creativity. Like I want to express my creativity in the game, in the match, my skill, my combos, my mix-ups, my footsies. That's my presence in the game. I felt that was the greater calling as compared to like making my character look nice.
Because a lot of the time it's all alluding to just how your character looks.
Most definitely. Not about how your gameplay as a player.
It's all about cosmetic purposes.
It's like, sure, custom variations, I think personally, like looking at it, I feel like it was a good idea because there were certain variations in the game where it's like I honestly never saw that variation picked ever. It's one of those.
Full auto Jackie. I'm just not full auto. Double.
The tech, the what? High tech, exactly. High tech Jackie Briggs, Butcher Leatherface, the one that had the hammer. You had characters like what? Even when we're looking at Scorpion, we have the Inferno, the minion, the Arise. You only saw that in the beginning and then it quickly died. Like I'm sure someone plays Inferno, but that's like 2% of the. There were many variations. There were some characters often fine, like for example Kotal Khan or Sony, where it's like sure, everyone plays all the variations, but that's way too few. Lasher Takeda is like 3% of the player base. But at least if it was custom variations only, then I feel like that's the better case because now you can be as strong as your ideas are. Like I can express my creativity with my mix-ups and moves through the moves I pick as a player. But putting them both the defaults and the customs, I feel like it should. If there is a tournament mode, what is it going to use? Custom variations or default variations?
I think they all come back to the same place.
Anyway, I feel like they are running around in circles. Tournament mode, no tournament mode, custom things, no custom things. Okay, let's have both customs and defaults, just like in Justice 2. There was default gear where it's just, for example, Batman who works by the default measurements. And then you'd have Batman with gear where his parry launches people, his batarangs explode or some nonsense like that, you know what I mean? And then now you have two sections of the player base, those who just want to play the game for what it is and those who want to customize the game. So at that point, if you are always consistently splitting the player base.
Because there's no common ground actually.
There is no common ground. Right now, for example, if I'm a player who feels like Baraka with the custom variation is the way to go, I will never play default Baraka ever again. And if there's ever a tournament where it's default variations only, then my Baraka is neutered because it's one of those, I'm used to a Baraka that can do probably a touch of all three. But then I have to pick a Baraka that only does one thing, the one that uses flags, for example. It's split things. I don't know. It's weird.
Sure. It could be us.
It could, maybe I don't understand because this is just from what I saw last night, but it's weird. Anyway, moving on. It's quite gonna fast forward a bit to the gameplay. MuscleMan.
What is that? What is that Scorpion just did to us?
Funnily enough, I thought, let me go back a bit. Funnily enough, I thought it was an air throw. This isn't the air throw. I'll try my best to pause. Let me pay attention. I'm gonna pause again. That's the
Sorry.
short hop. That's the first time they showed the short hop, but they didn't actually say what it was. Because when I saw it, I was like, maybe Baraka just jumps funny, but that's actually a tech jump. And then here Scorpion goes in, but the thing is he animates before. So if it's a throw, right? If it's a throw, it means that his air throw animation has fire. But I don't think it's actually a throw. I think it's a hit grab. Similar to Laura's medium elbow, where you hit someone and then it has a follow-up grab. Well, you don't have to necessarily press a button for the follow-up, but I just mean it's a hit that has an animation after the hit. So I don't think this is an air throw, even though air throws were already in MKX and previous MK games. This looks like a hit grab. Anyway, moving on. And then that he gets the knockdown.
Hey, that's like the start of the reveal trailer.
Oh yeah, when he stepped, when he's
exactly.
And this, actually they took some of that stuff. I talked about this before about things that were very interesting in the game, and it was the meter being divided. And in this case, what I actually enjoy is that we have defensive meter, we have offensive meter, and we have X-ray meter. Well, fatal blow, FB. We have FB meter.
Yes, we're calling it now.
I'm calling it now. We're going to be FBing in MK11. But the point here is that you have a situation whereby everyone is guaranteed to FB at least once around because you will drop below 30%.
Yeah.
The only way I could stop you from using your FB fatal blow is if I start, let's just say I have a 40% combo and I do it when you have 40% left, meaning you'll die before you get to FB.
Yes.
But everyone is now guaranteed a FB every round, which is something that didn't exist in MK. For example, MK9 and MKX.
Shout
because
out to rage drives.
True. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. That's a race drive.
Yeah,
it's a race drive.
Like a rage drive from Tekken.
Actually, these are race drives because I was thinking to myself, I was treating it as like ultras in Street Fighter 4, where you get it when you get beat up a certain amount. But rage drive is the perfect example because you only get it within a threshold. Except in Tekken, it's 20% of your life, not 30. So we've got rage arts in the game, and we have defensive meter and offensive meter. Which is great because now our offensive meter is something we can use to extend our combos as always.
Yes.
But still, we can't. There have been situations whereby you use your offensive meter in MKX, for example, to get combo extensions. You get your hard knockdown, and then maybe you make a bad read. Maybe they use armor against you waking up, and you wish you had meter to break. And now in that situation, there's nothing you can do because you've spent your meter attacking. Now you have to hold this defense. So now I know that I have my defensive option meter and I have my offensive option meter. So splitting the three uses is great.
A bit geeky, but
it's great. I feel like this is the best thing they could have done. I don't know about final blows, like if they will really be significant in terms of damage. I feel like right now they do quite a lot of damage. So it's one of those knock me down and don't kill me if I've got 2 bars. That's 2 combo extensions into a final blow. Fatal blow. You could potentially get 60 to 80% damage combos with 2 bars. 2 bars, 60%.
And people, you know, they share on MKX, but you know, let's think positive, guys.
True. But anyway, that's something that's cool. Still got throws. And the animations. I'm gonna pause it
what
again.
Is this?
I honestly don't know, man.
What is
There are a lot of moves that seem to have cinematics similar to
that
this.
are like X-rays.
Exactly. They have cinematics and they seem to do a lot of damage. Yeah, look at that. 310. That's like an X-ray.
Yeah,
that's 31% pretty much because they both have 1,000 health. Shout outs to different health values now. I assume this is because of the gear, not because certain characters have different health. Because usually Japanese fighting games will have the bigger characters having more life than the smaller ones. But here we've seen Baraka, we've seen Scorpion, we've seen Scarlet and Sonya, and they all seem to be at 1,000, but they're generally different characters. So I assume the health is tied to the gear, not the character. I could be wrong. I would have to see Garrus's life bar to confirm because he seems like a big guy. But yeah, and that's another thing I pointed out earlier, saying that usually Scorpion Spear led to a 50-50 situation.
Yeah. Yes.
And they seem to just hard knockdown. So this could be the spears specifically for a certain variation that just knocks them down. Or it could just be the spear overall. So in that case, does it then mean that...
What about the EX spear?
True, we never got to see it. Maybe. The thing is, he has other tools. He's got like the Supergirl EX trait. It kind of put people in a 50-50 situation. So it's like either the 50-50 situations have changed or they've been reduced. Because in most often than not, in certain, like in MK, with Scorpio and Ninjutsu, you could get a 50-50 situation from, let me try to think. 2-1 was +2. Of course, Spear is a 50-50 situation, standing 3, standing 4, and overhead on hit, but the plus rates weren't overhead. But either way, you had multiple ways to get some form of 50-50 going. And I feel like they are reducing them. There's no evidence to support this.
Promote a bit of thinking.
A bit of footsies, considering there is no stamina meter in this entire build. I don't see no stamina. And I see a lot of walking and dashing. Meaning maybe running isn't even in this game. I speculated that maybe run isn't even a feature in this game because it was MKX's selling point.
That was...
So maybe in that regard, there is no run. There's a lot more footsies though. There's a lot more footsies. More of the cinematic moves.
X-ray, environmental interactions, what the hell?
I don't know. There's quite a lot that's changed. It's more of the same, but it's stuff that has kind of changed.
Oh.
That looks like a very good anti-air. That looks like a great anti-air.
How much damage did that?
I don't know. We can go back and see. It didn't seem like much, but it seemed like a decent anti-air.
Chip situation.
Let's see if he actually does it again. Does he do it? Does he do it? Does he do it? Right? There we go. Right, well, it didn't even try it. It's small, but still you can cage someone. I guess for now, that's all I'd wanted to talk about in the section. Even though they froze the timer, you notice that the timer is stuck at 60 seconds.
Okay, that's nothing to do with it being a reveal, maybe.
Well, I feel like it was something when I was talking earlier, saying when we were talking about damage values and how damage seems to be very high. It doesn't make sense for it to be a 99-second round considering you have moves that do 30% and it's just a single move. So I feel like, but there it went up to 90 seconds. Can you see? It doesn't make sense.
Okay,
it was at 60.
That,
I was looking at the time when I was watching. It's mostly 60 most of the time, but then there are times when it goes up to 90. So I don't understand how the timer is working. But if I were to speculate, I feel like the timer might actually be 90 seconds, right? I feel like, let me try pause. I feel like the timer is 90.
Okay.
Maybe when they were recording this initial footage, they set it to 60 seconds. Then maybe something happened when they were playing. And they had to restart the recording. So they had to emulate this exact same situation. But maybe they didn't realize they had changed the time.
Wow, okay, so...
Because, I don't know, unless the time changes, who knows, considering time, travel, time is a factor, blah,
you think
blah,
they
blah.
went that deep?
Maybe, who knows?
Okay.
Maybe they went that deep. Because the time changed after that cinematic, which you can cut that during editing. I can cut that during editing. Because it's one of those, if something stopped our recording, we can just put the lives generally to where that section was, and then I do the exact same move, and then just merge the videos together. So, anyway, Fatal Proactive, I feel like I've said...
Life reducing there?
It seemed like there was a bleed effect. Look, it gets stabbed.
Because of that?
Yeah, because of that move. There's a bleed effect on that move, so... You have different things that happen. If we're to move forward, I feel like I've said much of what I want to say about this section of the video. It seems like Baraka's variation, the flag one, he puts flags, uses them. I guess it's like your own interactor that you can carry with you. I assume that's what the gist is about.
Crystalline
exactly, where you can put on your own little thing that you can stomp on.
This is something nice.
True. And this was in the trailer, right? That's what it did to Raiden, except it ends a bit differently.
Hey, that's like I don't know, I'm seeing Kitana.
Yeah. Most definitely. I loved. I already told you this like a thousand times. Yeah, that's
The way
actually
he
quite
tries
cool.
to defend against that is
And it doesn't help. I actually like the physics. But one thing I liked was this whole freeze frame. I've already told you where it freezes.
Yeah, look at that.
That looked cool. That looked cool.
There's the flag in the ground.
And it freezes.
How does he do that?
I had no idea. How do you even rip someone's anyway?
Yeah, well, he's experienced.
His experience, you know what I mean. But anyway, at that point I was like, yeah, they might have stolen my money.
I mean, look at that.
Anyway, moving on. We're dealing with, this is your character creation. Your character
Wait, go
creation.
back there, sorry. Just revert there. But I want
One more time?
You were saying something about grappling.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we're talking about whether if the items have any significance to your gameplay. So should I move on from here?
Yeah, just a bit.
Let's see. So you have your skin, which is your overall costume. Then you have you can do your customize your intro and outro, and then your brutalist fatalities and end of round taunts. That's all fair and fine. And then here, he's picking his spear, adds new. Oh my god. So this is a gear system through and through. Because, I mean, I've got one spear that adds a new special attack.
To the K.
But it makes sense though, because like I said, that spear he threw didn't have a 50-50 situation. So maybe the default spear works like how Scorpion spears worked throughout the decades.
Sort of thing,
You have to pick the default spear or whichever spear has a 50-50. All of them add new, look at this, adds new combo string for Death Spear combo. So that interactable has its own string attached to it. I mean, that cosmetic. So yeah, like I said, splitting the community. I'm not a big fan of this. I don't like this at all. Like it's fair and fine. I never liked Injustice, and I felt like the gear system was a blatant copy of Gems and Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and even that didn't work. It split the community in so many ways. Who has money? Who doesn't have money? Who wants to change the way the game is meant to be played? Like if Scorpion Spear is supposed to give me a 50-50, why do I want one that causes a knockdown?
Yeah.
You know, there are so many questions.
You can easily mix someone and, vortex them
To death or something. Either way, it's conflicting with my interests as a player and Scorpion. So I don't know.
I don't like it.
I don't like it at all. What do you think? Since you are like a Injustice player, maybe you can give me better information. Because as soon as I saw that game, to be honest, I was negative towards it. So as I was saying, MuscleMan, gear in Injustice to you, like how did that? Because like I said, I've already expressed I hate it. I hate it. There's no better way to say it. Gear, whether you call it gear, gems, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
The only balance I've found was with fighting Exley and the Gogi Dex, but that's not the point. For you, when you're talking about gear and Injustice, what do you think that represented for you? And do you think that there were any merits to it? Do you think, like, overall as a package, what was it about?
To be honest, I honestly, aside from like myself, I don't recall anyone like in the professional competitive scene who ever made any thoughts, like no one ever tried to make a case for gear on its own.
Oh, and was like, this is the reason I bought Injustice was because of gear.
There was nothing, like not even this reference.
Funnily enough, when Soul Calibur 6 came out, the very first videos I ever found outside of like combos and tutorials of how to play the game were custom characters are ruining ranked matches. That was literally one of the first topics I saw from even avoiding the party. Where Ares was like,
Alright.
For example, let's just say I create a character in Soul Calibur 6 who has Astaroth's moveset. Astaroth, giant guy with an X, right? And then I make a very small man, super small man, have pretty much a Rocket Raccoon character with that same moveset. So it's now like, for example, when you fight, initially you won't know like what moves I'm using because I'm a custom character until you see me swing. And then you say, oh, okay, that's Astaroth's moveset. Let me attack him because I've got Astaroth specific combos, considering he's a big guy, right? I can juggle him better. But now I've created a small rocket raccoon. Now you can't juggle me in the same way you can juggle Astaroth. So now you're playing around with the balance of the game. It's imagine if Jury had Abigail's moves, but maintains her speed and size. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So those were the issues I had, and I feel like this is another issue. It's like, yo, I've got the best Scorpion around, and then I find out it's because you're using some piece of gear.
Yes.
You know,
it's as long as it's something that is customizable to anyone out there who can put their own spin on it, and it's not something that, you know, the whole community can see and practice against them.
Yeah. Because for example, right now we're seeing Hellflame, this cosmetic adds a new special attack. Let's just say you are using it to great effect and you're getting wins, but I can't afford to buy it or I don't have it unlocked. What do I know about it? You know, I have to now go look for videos as to how to, but there's nothing I personally can do until I buy it to unlock it. What if it's something that's very hard for me to unlock? You know? It causes difficulties, but
it causes a lot of difficulties that I don't think can be solved, to be honest.
True, it's one of those you'd rather not have the, like, for now, in all honesty, I feel like the fighting games that do the best of balancing it out for the entire player base is where everyone has the same tools. There's nothing like this special move is locked behind the $5 paywall, or the special move is unlocked by doing survival on hard. It's like, no, if I pick a character and you pick the character, we both have the same moves.
Yes.
Maybe we can vary in terms of what variation we pick, but I can still pick the same variation you're beating me with, you know.
Now
I can learn it.
Customize variations, which is still gear at the end.
Yeah,
of the
true,
day.
exactly. It's still gear. It's still gear. So I don't know.
They just
I feel like, I hope it balances itself out, because I feel like if something were to break, if something were to give, this is what's going to break this game.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the one point where it's like, because for now I'm actually shocked at how good it is, but this is one of the things that can break this game completely. So I'm scared. True. Yes. I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared. But anyway, moving on. We're gonna move on to when they were showing the Scarlet and Sonya.
But the graphics.
No, the graphics are amazing. Like, genuinely, they put effort. That's one thing I can't say they didn't do. They genuinely put effort, because look at the swords. The swords actually.
Go to the trailer. Remember where you should be going.
Exactly.
What's his name?
Raiden. Yes. So putting effort, they put effort. This is not me saying that what they did was wrong in the sense that it's bad. This is just me saying that it's dangerous.
It is.
It's dangerous. So especially when we're talking about cosmetics. Well, the thing is though, I feel like what the augment sockets mean are that, like, I can make my Scorpion look like this, but not have any of the special moves. So I can put that special kunai, but without its moves that are attached to it. So it's like, we can still play the base game, but look sexy at the same time.
Yeah, which is...
It's okay. In that regard, at least I can make Scorpion look sexy, but...
Are trying to use the cosmetics to, you know, just try and mask the real problem.
Yeah, true.
That's...
Because in this case, all these sockets mean to me is that there is a tournament mode. Because if you look at Injustice 2, when you enter tournament mode, it randomizes your cosmetics, how you look, but your moves remain the same. So I feel like this, having the choice where it's like, I'll make my Scorpion look totally different, but he still fights the same, means that there's a mode where either my Scorpion fights the same or he doesn't fight the same. So that means tournament mode is definitely going to be. I feel I'm going to say it now, it's confirmed. It can only be. So like here they were showing all the different gears. Man, it looks nice. It looks nice.
It does.
But gear though.
Guys, we don't really care about that.
It's all about the gameplay. It's like they were saying that they were trying to. This is going to be like their more fleshed out game that they've ever made. They want to put a lot of effort, and you can see they are putting a lot of what made Injustice great. They are putting a lot of what made MK great. At least that's what I assume.
Just imagining if they could put that effort into the base game.
True. Instead of trying to add these small features, take that time and put it to the game itself.
It would be great.
It would be much better. We
might be actually having different
So here, when Scarlet was fighting against Sonya, I'm opposite right there. Before we even go far, the reuse of animations. This is a crime within every game in existence, not even just fighting games. Any game, people reuse things. Like I was saying earlier, saying that I feel like referencing material is okay as long as you reference good material. Looking at Sonya from an MKX point of view, she had no real presence in the air.
Yeah.
Like when Sonya's jumping, it's dive kick or not dive kick.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Which, you know,
So now, well, at least in this duck and cover variation, they have given her Cyborg's air projectile. Let's see if I can catch the freeze frame there.
Oh, yes.
So in this case, she now has a tool, like if you jumped, you'd have been hit. If you'd forward dashed, you'd have
And
been
it looks
hit.
like you can instant hit the same way.
True. Oh, actually, that would be quite cool. I wasn't actually thinking about instant air special moves when I saw this, but definitely it's a good addition. But I feel like if Sonya has some of Cyborg's moves from Injustice 2, does that mean are there going to be more moves from Injustice 2 that make it into this game? You know what I mean? Like, will Scarlet pull out some attack that you saw from Atrocitus? You never know, because it's the same story. Blood.
The blood?
Blood for blood.
Yeah.
True. She could use a blood part to go.
We're gonna play.
Moving on.
Yeah,
I don't remember who. Someone had a whip. Catwoman had a whip. That's Catwoman's whip. Hold on. Just frame. I never actually saw it, but that is Catwoman's whip that she usually ends combos with.
Yeah, the downfall one.
Exactly. And there it is. And
Hey,
one
like
thing I noticed, for example, even though I'm skipping ahead, in the Garrus trailer, there's a time when they're showing that Garrus at the end of this review. I'll show it to you after this. But either way, there's a part where she threw her their blood projectile and paused it in midair, and then Garrus teleported. So they were trying to show that you can teleport similar to Kukri in King of Fighters.
Right.
But the point was that she stopped the red orb similar to Liu Kang's duelist red orb, and then she can detonate it. Exactly. So definitely using old things, they are using them. We have these cinematic moves. 37%.
What is that? An X-ray? What is that?
What is it? Because there's no flat out blow, and her meter is. Well, let me see. Let me look at her meter. Maybe the meter has increased. I don't know. But things changed. She used 2 bars. No, 1 bar. That was 1 bar. She used 1 bar to do the rolling attack, which had a cinematic. It's weird. I need them to explain what those cinematic moves are. And the problem I had come across to you about.
Can you combo into that shit?
It looked like, considering. No, think about it. It was 6 hits, and I assumed the roll was hits on its own. So when she rolled 1, 2, 3, and then 4, well, it counted 6. But either way, I saw 4 hits in that one. But either way, that could just be a special move. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I'll pause while she's doing Imposter Shinnok.
Yeah.
If people haven't caught on, I'm definitely using Scarlet if she's got Shinnok's moves. That's all I'm saying right now. My point was, all these cinematic moves are in the game. So I'm assuming, even if they cost 1 bar, that means roughly maybe you'll see it 2 or 3 times in a match, excluding your fatal blow, your FB. How long will it stay fresh? You know what I mean? Because unless if they add different cinematics or like different effects or special effects or something, I don't know. I feel like seeing special effects like cinematics consistently throughout around at some point it gets boring.
Yeah,
maybe it's just me, but I'm trying to think of, imagine if you are in training room and for example playing Street Fighter in training room and you set your super meter to max all the time. So every combo the computer does leads into super because it's programmed to use and you can't skip it. It feels weird. I don't know. The cinematics are short.
Yeah, but with time.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just overreacting, but it feels weird.
And it's something interesting to think of because, okay, fair and fine, we've got our defensive meter and, split defensive, but they're not showing us a lot of good defensive stuff.
True.
Because this offense is actually kind of OP.
True. Yeah. Like if you were to compare the two. If I were to go back, actually, there was a time when Scorpion was fighting Baraka, and he used his meter. Let me see if I can't find it, I won't bother looking any further. But he used his defensive meter on. There we go. He used his defensive meter 1 on a back recovery roll, which I would assume is invincible. And there was hopefully it's invincible or something good, right?
Yeah.
And I hope that he used his meter for a wake up move. That was actually meter for a AX teleport. But I guess that means the teleport is a defensive tool. But anyway, like I said, I'm not gonna look for it if I can find it now. There it was. I'm so tempted to go back. I'm so tempted to go back, but that's not the point. My point is that if you look at the defensive option, a back recovery or a wake up, because there's a time he did a get up move, which I assume is a reversal. Sure, you're getting out of trouble. But then the person on the offense uses the same amount of meter, but for an offensive move, and it does 38%. You see, it doesn't make sense. But I'm sure, of course, when we get to play the game, things will change. I hope things will change.
I'm hoping this.
Because this 37 is real, man. It's real.
That is too much.
Throws, of course, still in the game. Block button is definitely in the game. There was a time Scarlett jumped and
no cross-ups.
she teleported there, but did that use meter? I wonder. Let me see. Oh, yeah, was that just a regular move? Because she gets thrown and then she teleports. Nope, it's just a regular teleport. But it was in its defense, it wasn't fast. So yeah.
Okay, so that recovery, she didn't come.
No. Most definitely, it's one of those. After the imposter, she just hits her with this move. So my argument was that these cinematic moves are easy to block, or the thing is though, it looks like she got thrown.
Yeah, because she waited a bit. There was definitely
she looked like she got thrown after the imposter thing. So
there was time she chilled a bit,
and then that's a throw.
Yeah.
So if a throw does wait, how much life? 25%, 31% for a throw.
This is that X-ray stuff.
What X-ray stuff though? It can't be fatal blows because we're not in our 30%. We're not below 30%.
Yeah, but it's the same stuff like what we were saying about Sonya and her takedown.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it is. It's a cinematic thing and it does so much. But the thing is, that's a grab.
Hell.
One came from a low, one came from a grab. Both good ways to open up people's defense. So I honestly don't understand. I don't understand.
I'm actually getting scared.
True, right. Just frame blocks.
Tech punish. You see the naming.
Yeah. Well, clearly the naming is kind of. They need to work on that shit. Even if they just call it call it a just block or something, because that's what it's called, a faultless block.
Yeah.
But anyway, what Ed Boon had said is that you are rewarding execution with better frame data. So I'm sure if something is maybe -5, if you just block it, you get a better punishment. It's now -7.
Maybe like these 37% throws can be.
I don't know. There, to be honest, the 37% items, I'm not even going to talk about them because for now, those are like the biggest question mark I have.
Can you just block?
Are they even attached to gear? Maybe they could be attached to gear because Scarlett doesn't look like this by default. She's the Arab-looking chick, right? Now she's got that off. So this is a different costume. This is Sonya's default, but that's not Scarlett's default. But either way, they both did 30-something% off one move. But either way, you have situations in MKX where someone does a move and it's like -5, which is unpunishable. And they can pretty much spam that move. For example, Tanya Pyromancer, her dust is -4. She can spam that, armor it, spam it on block, on hit, doesn't matter, because she can. Now in this game, if I have good enough execution, I could potentially take that -4 into a -6, which is a down 1 punish. That's the one thing I appreciate about just frame blocks, considering the history I have with Guilty Gear. The stage is good. But one thing also I had to notice when I first watched, she did Cassie Cage's flip, MuscleMan. That's your character right there. And I feel like
the animation for
or you feel like if you just block you get an instant punish. That could also be, because the thing is she glowed and used meter though. But the thing is though, does it take meter to just block?
Which meter does it?
Because there the offensive meter went down by 1, which means she did an EX move. Can you see? It went down by 1 and then she got the block attack punish. So I feel like that EX flip is just a EX flip. It's a move. Well, at least that's what I feel. Because it's one of those, sure, if they say you get a just frame block, you can immediately punish. That makes it easier. Like if it was all just one animation where just frame block takes 1 bar of meter and it has a punish on its own, that makes life a whole lot easier, but it's not very creative. in the sense that what if there's a punish that I specifically want to do that hurts more than starting with the EX flip.
All right, yes.
So there are two. What you're saying is perfectly fine. There are two options. It's either the just frame block requires 1 meter and it has its special move that it counters with, or she just frame blocked and she used 1 bar of meter to get her attack.
That would be an interesting spin on it.
Sure.
It would be like an easy option that everyone
can do. Yeah, where it's like, I just have 1 bar block on time and then the punish happens for you. But still separating the player base. What if I don't want easy things? What if I don't want easy things? But anyway, that's Cassie Cage's flip. In the history of MKX, funnily enough, quite a number of the player base didn't actually appreciate the Kombat Kids. I'm being one of them. I felt like I didn't like them. I didn't like all of them at all.
It's okay.
It's like people like them. Exactly, people. But the fact that none of them were shown in this reveal feels like they were listening to the player base and not showing them characters they don't want to see. Like, for example, they could have easily shown Kung Lao, Liu Kang. Even Raiden and Scorpion are in the character select screen and they only showed Scorpion. Sub-Zero is there, he wasn't even shown. Which shows that people are more interested in other things than to see Raiden do Raiden. We know what Raiden does. No one really wants to see. So the fact that they didn't show the kids in this reveal, that's good for them.
Because they were quite underwhelming. Alright, let me not say quite, they were
underwhelming. So anyway, just frame blocks. We talked about the cinematic moves, and here they're showing short hops.
Nice.
And the nice thing about these short hops, well, at least from what I can tell, they didn't show them go backwards or forwards. If you can go backwards or forward, that actually makes them much better. But the animations actually they look like tech jumps in Soul Calibur 6, which is it's still a short hop, but they were using it in the same way, where it's like use it to immediately go over a low or a throw and then do the move. So I said this before in the previous video. I've said this to you.
Yes.
People like today, we've heard people's opinions saying there's something fishy about this MK. There's something not nice about this MK. I feel like
as much as I want to be positive about it, there's actually a bit of
there's some fish in it. There's something that stinks.
The sensor so far
is fishy. But funnily enough, I'm the only one who feels like it's fishy because they're taking things from other games. I feel like right now they are modifying the game to fit the mold as to what people perceive as top-end fighting game. It's like fair and fine, they're still targeting the casuals. Even Ed Boon's speech, you could see he was talking mostly to casuals, even though they're professionals in the crowd. I feel like they are trying to look at other fighting games, what makes them better. Why do games have short hops or tech jumps? Why do games have just frame blocks? Why do games have defensive options? So for example, we can look at the defensive meter as V reversals or alpha counters or whatever. And then you look at the offensive meter as your EX or your super, and then you've got your fatal blows and stuff. They're actually looking at what makes other fighting games great and trying to implement them, which could in turn make their game great.
Yes, maybe. Exactly, which is actually a good thing.
But it's one of those, it's deviating from what MK has always been. So I feel like that bitter taste that people have might be that change. I feel like there's a change coming. Whether it's for the better or worse, I can't tell. For now, it interests me because I've always wanted a change. So maybe this could be the change that makes me actually love the MK game. I've played a lot of them. I've played almost all of them. And I've always had stuff to complain about. Always. I don't know, maybe it's just
not even one positive.
Except, funnily enough though, Mortal Kombat Deception is the only one I played where it was like that animation. I don't know.
That is like a lot of test your luck.
True. Actually true. They could have taken test your luck animations. There you saw her block before the jump. So the block button's definitely still there. The cinematic moves, 26% for one move. I don't know. And you notice that on the combo counter. No, the meter is still the same. If you notice though, the combo counters have the dragon logo. Sometimes it's silver, sometimes it's bronze, sometimes it's gold. So I assume they're stylized.
Did you see that?
Let me go back and see.
Okay, she was just on the cusp.
But there we go. A situation like I was saying, where I said they cut together pieces of footage. The life bars changed during that combo. Look at the damage when she stabs. Right? Look at the health. after that. They cut and edit. So it's one of those, they kept on stopping and doing, because I assume they were making mistakes. Maybe
Is
they're
this
not
a
so
good
great.
thing or like for your reveal?
The thing is, it's a good thing in the sense that no one saw this the first time.
It's only when people are going to
Now, like
analyze.
for us who keep on going back over the footage, now you're getting to see the mistakes. So yeah, they were cutting and editing a lot of footage in this game. I love this. I love that. That smile, just the smile is fun.
You see, it's not always the blood that sells.
True. And if I were to pause Ronda's face here, I was saying that there's a lot of blood in the game, but the models do not get damaged. If you look at Sonya, her face, there's no scratch. Well, there's markings of blood, but that's because of the cinematic. But if you look in the game, it's the end of the game. Yeah, but during the match, if I were to go back, you'll notice that the character models are still very clean. Yeah. No dirt, no excessive blood cutting or stab wounds or holes or anything, or ripped clothes or dirt or mud. Yeah. So it's one of those, either they turn these off because of the fact that it's a reveal thing. Maybe they're keeping people's age limits in mind, and they wanted
even though it's
an under 18 game. Funnily enough, kids played. Funnily enough, kids played. But I feel like maybe because it was televised on many different streams, so maybe they wanted to keep. So maybe they turned off excessive blood and gore. Yeah. Or since the graphics engine is so high tech now, like they're taking the Unreal Engine 4 to a higher level. Yeah, and this is maybe they are trying to compensate for the performance of the device using it, because this has to release on multiple platforms. So maybe some consoles won't be able to run it at 60 frames if they put the excessive blood and gore and detail to the models on top of the graphics on top. So maybe frame rate might drop. I don't know.
So you wouldn't want that.
Yeah, you don't want people saying I'm playing it on the Switch and my frame rate drops. Then someone's like, but I play it on Xbox and it's fine. Then the PS4 guys like, I'm playing it on 4K, it's excellent. Then me on a regular PS4 is saying, my game is crashing. You never want people complaining. Exactly. You never want that. Yeah. So maybe it's stylized to be uniform across the board, not too much detail to compensate the smile of champions.
Yes, that's it. Just that brain.
That one, that's the kind of detail I like to see.
Feels familiar.
With the spear. What doesn't Raiden's X-ray, doesn't he impale you on a spear, except it's coming from like your butt going up?
Yes, it does.
It may be, but I don't know. I'll have to think on that one.
Yes, it does feel like Scorpion's X-ray.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
Yes, okay.
But yeah, tech jumps, short hops, just straight blocks, you get to see X-rays, everything's still there. You notice something though, they never showed the brutality. Maybe they'll show them later. Yeah. Because even in MKX, they only showed the brutalities in the Kombat Kast, not in the reveal trailer. They actually showed it off as a feature, like your brutalities are back, Yeah. So maybe they're saving that for later. Yeah. But moving on to our final little piece, here they're busy showing different X-rays and different fatalities, and you actually get to see different costumes for anyone who's interested. Yeah, they showed quite a lot. Which is great considering how long people had wanted information, so you can keep on going over and over this footage forever.
Yeah, they did well.
But the last thing, this is the story prologue. I don't know if they showed. There we go. Sonya played Ronda Rousey. I'm not even gonna go further than this. Big Ronda Rousey fan, but I must stop right here. Don't wanna see her face. Don't want any copyright claims. My point is, we are spending. This is not the first time.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain. There are millions of games that have done this, right? Where you take actual actors and put them in your game, whether it be their face or their voice. Yeah. So, for example, in the case of Phantom Pain, the voice of Big Boss was Kiefer Sutherland, the guy who was 24, who's famous for 24, right?
Yes.
He hardly spoke in the game. Bear in mind, Metal Gear has always been a franchise about long and deep dialogues, and then now we pay this guy millions just to grunt and groan from time to time, because I assume they didn't have enough money to pay him to say the complete script. So they fired David Hayter, who was initially Snake's voice actor. just to get Kiefer Sutherland because he's famous. You know what I mean? Well, I'm sure it's like Hideo Kojima at the time, even till now, he fancies himself as someone who wants to get into the movie space, direct movies instead of directing games. So it's one of those, he feels like that's his progression. He went from writing stories to making games to then making movies. That's like his pinnacle. That's where he wants to be. He hangs out. Yeah, he hangs out with movie directors and stuff like that. So that's where he wants to end. But now if you look at the game, there's hardly less talking because we can't pay this guy the amount of money he wants. If we had paid David Hayter, we could have got much more dialogue in the game. So in this case, right, we've got Ronda Rousey. It costs probably a lot more money to pay Ronda Rousey than the person who was initially voicing Sonya Blade. To be honest, I have no idea who's been voicing Sonya Blade.
It doesn't matter. We don't really.
It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I appreciate the character. I use the character. So let's just say, in the budget, maybe this game cost, let's just say 100 million to make, as an example. And 10 million or maybe 5 million went to Ronda Rousey. Couldn't that 5 million have been used for something else? Something to make the game better, better graphics and better engine, or bought more servers across the world so that more players can play a game? Because I'm sure maybe there's someone in Argentina who doesn't have a server nearby and they are always subject to high lag because there's no server in Argentina. And can you see? It's like I'm sure there's someone in Zimbabwe who would love to play this game, but there's no server here or a server nearby that's good enough for us to connect to. So instead of using that $5 million on Ronda Rousey, couldn't we have used that $5 million on something that could have made the game just a little bit better? For example, they have a collector's edition with a skull and whatever. Couldn't they have used that $5 million to make the collector's edition way more? Because it's underwhelming. It's literally just Scorpion's head with the mask thing and the game and the metal case. That's it. And you're gonna spend $300 on that for a head. You know, usually with other ones, maybe you get a statue of Scorpion plus the metal case plus some hand plus some this and some coin.
Trophy.
Yeah.
Could actually compete
with this special edition.
I honestly think that.
But that's genuinely my issue is that you spend money on celebrities for marketing. It makes sense. There are many people who watch UFC and there are many people who watch WWE who know Ronda Rousey. And
people who I'm sure have been drawn to Mortal Kombat
just because of Ronda Rousey. And she's not the only one. Bear in mind, like I said, in the information before this reveal, they were saying that there will be other fantastic people. They kept on using the word fantastic who feature in the
fantastic was Ronda.
Exactly. So they will feature in the story mode, maybe in the game. So for example, there was a time when she was talking, she was like she's still waiting to find her Johnny Cage. So maybe whoever's doing Johnny Cage it makes sense that if you get one famous person to be the wife, you get another famous person to be the husband. Maybe even Cassie Cage would be Miley Cyrus. Who knows? You'll never know. You never know.
Too quiet for too long anyway.
You'll never know. So it's one of those situations whereby Johnny Cage could be some famous actor or whoever, but either way, it's more money. There are more actors that are going to be revealed, and it's more money that could have went towards the game.
Yes,
but
which is, at the end of the day, is the game that is
important, not who's in it.
Yes.
The example I gave of Infinite Warfare, fair and fine, the guy who acts as Jon Snow is in the game, but it didn't change the sales. The game tanked. It didn't do well. So, I don't know. For me personally, I guess
on paper we can see
the
examples that show
it doesn't always work out. So I don't know. For me personally,
just our 2 cents, guys.
Yeah, this is it. This is as much as I would like to talk about. I think we've said quite a lot. But there are quite a lot of things. Me personally, MuscleMan, okay. For me personally, I feel like I'm going to play this game. Like with MKX, I said I wasn't going to play the game, then ended up playing the game. With MK9, same story. And sadly, with MK11, it's the same story again. I think it was Ronda Rousey. I think it was Ronda. Like when I saw Ronda, I love that woman. I love that woman. I love that woman. I saw her, I was like, man.
One other guy out there
who loves her too. So it's one of those. When I saw Ronda, before that, I was like, this game's trash. I was like, this literally till this point, I was like, this is ass if I've ever seen ass. And then I saw Ronda's, I was like, my
Ronda is
God.
big, huh?
Oh
Yeah.
my God. But anyway, that's how they took my money. In your opinion, do you think that for you, this is still a game worth getting? Are you still on the fence? Or what is your
Right,
verdict on
for me,
this, from this information?
Aside from being a family,
Yeah.
yes, there is some good stuff. There is, but it's a bit of a petri dish for me right now. There's some good
And some bad.
Yeah, there is some good and some bad.
Yeah.
I hope we move forward and
It
going
gets
more-
better.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone always hopes for anything professional.
Most definitely.
So I'm hoping the gear and all that other stuff. I'm set and I'm not going to say anything more. So everything else, yeah. I hope it turns out to be a good game.
Lastly, before we go,
Yeah.
when Tyler Lansdowne was talking, there's Ronda. Oh my girl! When Tyler was talking, there was this part where they revealed the character and no one paid attention. That happened when they were saying new logo. I'll try to see if I can get it. But the whole point was that they revealed the character, no one got it, and I tried to, bear in mind, I tried to slow it down to see what the character was. They made it in such a way that even in slow motion it's hard to see. But I'll try get a freeze frame.
What was the crowd reaction?
No one noticed because he was talking about the new logo, and the new logo, it's like it transitioned in with the character. Like, you know how if something's moving from right to left, that was the logo, and that the character was moving with the logo. So it's like if you weren't looking at the screen, you would have. So, you know, and yeah.
Forced Easter egg
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I can get it before I run out of space.
Alright.
Let's see if I can. I think it talks. Nah, this is the Keres review. I think I missed it. But anyway, the point was, it kind of looked like rain because as much as I could tell, it was a ninja, and there was the color purple. There we go. It's somewhere here. Let me see if I can catch it. There was purple highlights. It could be anyone, of course, but I saw something that seemed like a ninja. I'll keep on. There we go. There were purple highlights, and there was something ninja-esque. I'll try see. Yeah. I'll try see one more time. I'll try it one more time, then I'll give up after that. But still, there we go. So you see I got a better glimpse when I was playing it in slow motion. It's definitely a man, and there are purple highlights. So the only purple highlight, it could be rain. But anyway, like I said, it could be anyone.
Yeah.
But anyway, MuscleMan, thank you very much for this.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, man. Hopefully we'll see. The Kombat Kast is on the 30th of January, so we'll get to see more at the end of the month.
Yes, we will. Hopefully we'll be connected to the rest of
Oh
you.
yeah,
good
true.
people.
Well, for anyone watching this, we are technically by the time they see this, but for people who don't know, our country is under internet shutdown, communications shutdown in Zimbabwe. We have
Literally.
no access to any internet whatsoever. But that's not the case. I don't want to get involved with the government.
Yes, please.
Thanks for everyone who's been watching, and we'll see more MKX, I guess, when it comes out.
Yes.
Thanks.
MK11.
Oh, damn, I'm still
Stuck
talking
in the
X.
moment, sir.
Hey, Ed Boone said the story continues after MK9.
Yes,
I have this, my case. Check you all later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a little game.